Winter weather can be tough for older adults, and my next guest is going to help give advice when it comes to mobility and isolation in the cold months. Joining me is Stephanie Ralph, registered nurse with Niagara Health's geriatric clinic. Stephanie, what are some common health challenges you see in older adults during the winter months?
So during the winter months, we see a lot of people come in with falls, mobility issues, and they're often faced with a lot more social isolation during the winter months. Just because of the cold weather, it's more difficult for people to get out, and there's not a lot of engagement that they can do in the outside.
Certainly,
areas,
right. And if you're going outside and whether, the snow, the ice, there's certainly risks of falls.
Absolutely.
So do you have some recommendations for how older adults can stay safe, but also ensure they're keeping their mobility through the winter months?
Yeah, so older adults, when they are leaving the house, should be wearing proper footwear, nice sturdy shoes that have good treads on the bottom so that they're less likely to slip and fall. Also making sure that their sidewalks and driveways are cleared, and this can be done by either hired help or family members before they go to leave. Making sure that they also keep up their strength and mobility, so doing light exercises on a regular basis so that they're more agile and ready to move and can kind of support themselves a little bit more. We also recommend, if they require assisted devices, to use those. So things like canes, walkers, and even somebody to be close by with them.
Yeah, and for those things, those mobility devices, you can usually get add-ons, right, for the winter months so that they're a little bit safer too, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And in terms of isolation, again, the weather can, further isolate somebody in their home. They can't get out. So what are some things that we can do to ensure folks are staying social and maintaining kind of communication throughout these cold winter months when you really just want to stay inside?
Absolutely. So there's activities that we can do both inside and outside, which will work with that kind of cognitive stimulation and prevent some of that social isolation. Things like just engaging in telephone calls. There's community resources that we can kind of tap in on, having family and friends come over to visit. And there are a lot of resources in the community too where seniors and their loved ones can go. So places like the Canada Games Park in Thorold, indoor walking tracks, malls, anywhere where they can keep up that socialization piece and get out and be a little bit more active.
And these days too, there's probably a lot of options for staying connected without even having to leave your house, right?
Absolutely, using things like FaceTime or iPads, computers, anything where you can see people and engage in conversations is very helpful for our senior population.
And for anybody, the dark winter months can be a time of, greater depression, just feeling, blue or just not quite feeling yourself. And there's a lot of things that can, play into that. How important is nutrition and kind of, maintaining your health throughout the winter months, particularly for our older population?
It's extremely important. I know a lot of us are lacking in that vitamin D in these winter months. We don't get to see the sunshine as much. So making sure that we're getting the most optimal nutritious meals possible is going to be very important. So a lot of protein, especially lean proteins, things like whole grains, soups, stews, anything that's going to be very comforting, but making sure that we're still meeting all of those nutritional requirements.
Yeah, following Canada's food guide, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So, you talked about some of the things that you can do to kind of get outside, but again, it can be a little bit more dangerous during the winter months, depending on what the weather's like. Do you have any tips for preventing falls or preventing accidents, either outside or in your home?
Yeah, so again, it goes back to if you use it or if you don't use it, you'll lose it, right? So even just walking short distances in the house, doing things like stationary bikes, light-weighted activities, anything to keep up your functional health is going to be helpful in preventing falls and that deconditioning, which is very prevalent in our older population.
Great. And, for some of us who are caring for our aging parents, what are some things that, we as caregivers can do to help seniors stay healthy during the winter months?
Yeah, that's a great question. Really looking to engaging those seniors socially and physically. Taking them out, even just to go to the mall for a little while, get them out of the house, engage with them. Our seniors really do love to see their families, so just making that time to go and visit with them is so important.
Thank you, Stephanie, for being here today and giving us all of the tips and tricks for keeping safe and healthy over the winter months. What are some online resources that folks can visit to really just get a summary of everything you've told us today and ensure that we're taking good care of our older population?
Yeah, there's a lot of online resources, especially here in Niagara. So Community Support Service Niagara has a magnificent website with a lot of different ways that they have developed programs to either go out to our seniors in their homes or engage our seniors through various day programs. There's also March of Dimes, and there's various community centers throughout the region as well, which have some kind of senior-friendly activities that are planned out.
Great. Thank you again so much for being here. Stay safe, everybody, and hopefully you'll come back and talk to us next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.